let's talk about the contingent staffing and recruiting model. So these firms operate on what's called a contingent basis, meaning that the customer does not have to pay for services rendered until they hire a successful placement, meaning a candidate from one of these recruiting companies. Sounds like a really, really, really good deal if you're a company. I don't have to pay anything up front. All the, I guess the burden and the risk is on the recruiting firm. And yeah, it's a high fee, but maybe I'm willing to pay that. Now, what you don't realize is that causes massive inefficiencies for a recruiting firm and the industry in general, which kind of gives the industry a bad rap in a lot of senses. There's high turnover for recruiters at recruiting and staffing companies. Customers are constantly complaining about, hey, am I getting dedicated support? Quality of service, the cost is too high. This model has been around for the last almost 100 years, dating back to the 30s and 40s. It's a brokerage model, very similar to real estate brokers that charge 2, 3, 4% on the front end of a transaction on your house, and then 2 to 3 or 4% on the back end of a transaction. These are massive fees. Let's look under the hood at a recruiting and staffing company, though. Say I'm the owner of a 30-person recruiting firm. Things happen. If I'm working on a position, or my recruiters are working on a position for a customer, that recruiter may work 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months on a position, and that customer might change their mind on what they're looking for. Hey, I thought I needed a senior person. Now I need a junior person. Let's switch gears. And now they're spending more time that's unmonetized. The company could just change their mind. Hey, I know you worked 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months in this position. We decided that we don't need this anymore. Or they filled the position internally through a referral that they had sitting in their pocket, and to avoid a fee, they hired that person versus the agency person. Or I'm going to call out a position to 2, 3, 4, 5 recruiting firms all at once and let them duke it out and fight for this placement. Why not? I don't have to put any skin in the game on the front end. So if you look at it, there are massive inefficiencies. There are hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of time that go unmonetized. It's brutal for the recruiter in that environment. They're constantly, in a position where they might be doing good work, but for reasons outside of their control, they don't hit their goals, right? But more importantly, as a firm, 50 to 75% of a recruiting firm's time goes unmonetized because of the inefficiencies of the model. So these firms have to charge 20, 25, 30%, really high bill rates on contract employees, not because they're doing like a 25% good job. It's basically the customers that end up paying aren't just paying for that person, they're paying for the entire inefficiencies of the entire model. That's why the industry charges so much. If you look at real estate brokerages, it's a brokerage model. I have to pay 3% on the front end and 3% on the back end. That's crazy. Those are really, really high fees. And I'm finding the house that I ended up living in on Redfin and Zillow. This is crazy. Most brokerage industries have been disrupted at this point by either technology or a change in the business model. And for some reason, the contingent recruiting and staffing space has not changed.